Good evening, everybody. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry, we are starting a bit late. I've been busy with something. So I'm trying to set up properly so we can kickstart. Baby, see how far you brought me. Baby, I'm so glad you found me worthy. I can see, I can tell. Baby. See how far you brought me. Baby. I'm so glad you found me worthy. Okay. Yeah.
We are here, sir. Can continue now, sir.
I know you are here. Oh, give me some minutes. We still have very few persons in the class. So, but give me some minutes. I'll be starting the class soon.
My name is Mr. Olamide, sir. We are here live, sir.
Okay. You're welcome, Mr. Lamide. Just give me some minutes. We'll be starting soon. Oh, he's able. Lord is able to do just what he says he will do. Cause he won't give up on you. He's able. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so let's start. Actually using to wait for them to put on power, restore power. So, but let's start. So how many persons do we have in this section? We have 12 persons in the section. So meanwhile, how many of you were in the last section, please? Let's know how many persons were in the last section. And
I was there, sir.
okay. So we have on the screen content marketing, the role of content marketing in the role of content marketing in real estate marketing and advertisements. The role of content marketing in real estate marketing and advertisements. Sorry, the person that has television on should please solve that problem. So the role of someone has television or sound system on, the person should mute his or herself. So the role of content marketing in real estate marketing and advertisement, that's what we are looking at today. So the first thing we'll be looking at, today's class will be very brief as much as possible, because I'm actually not in a conducive environment. I almost postponed the section actually. So the role of content marketing in real estate marketing and advertisement. That is what we are looking at. So the first thing we need to understand first, before we begin to talk about the role of content marketing, what is content marketing? That is the first thing we need to look into first. If we are talking about the role of content marketing, we need to also understand what content marketing is about. So it is one thing to talk about content and the role. It is another thing to really understand what content marketing is about. So I'm going to be using a definition that was made by the Institute of Content Marketing. Yeah, the Institute of Content Marketing. There's actually an institution that is called Institute of Content Marketing in the world. And by God's grace, that is one of the institutions which I also attended at some point to give me competitive advantage in some of the things I do today. So the Institute of Content Marketing, they actually have a definition that is recognized globally. So how do they define content marketing? So they say content marketing is a strategic approach to creating. So the things you need to take note of in the definition first is it is strategic. It is not random. That is the first thing you need to take note of. Content marketing is a strategic approach. It is a strategic way of creating and distributing content. So the first thing is that it is strategic. Number two, it is an approach of creating and distributing. So some persons create, but they don't distribute. Some persons distribute other people's content, but do not create. Creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and engage a clearly defined audience. So the first thing you need to know, or some of the things you need to take note of, is that content marketing is like a discipline on its own. It's something you go to institution to study as something you want to work with. So it's a discipline. Content marketing is a discipline. The sub-discipline of marketing, you need to take note of that. Then number two is that it is an act of creating and distributing. So when you create, you have to distribute. And you are not just creating anyhow kind of content. It has to be relevant. Sorry, it has to be valuable. Valuable means that there is a worth to it. Okay, it is something that someone is willing to pay for. Okay, you can attach value to it. That is one of the points about content marketing. It is valuable, it is relevant, and it is consistent. Okay, so it is valuable, it is relevant, and it is consistent. So some persons create valuable content, some persons don't create valuable content. Some others create content but are not relevant, though it is valuable but not relevant. Okay, maybe the need for that type of content is no more in use. The purpose of such is no longer needed. Okay, so that is mean that the content is not relevant. Or sometimes it might be relevant to person A, it's not relevant to person B. Why? Because you are not targeting your content to specific kind of persons. Okay, so you need to know that. And the last part of it is that there is an objective. After being valuable, relevant, and consistent, the objective of content marketing is to attract, number one. Number two, it is to engage a clearly defined audience. Okay, so that is what number two, the last part of content marketing is about. So when you talk about content marketing, it helps you to attract, it helps you to engage a clearly defined audience. So first thing first, you need to understand the scope of this whole definition. Okay, so now let's proceed to trying to understand the whole definition that has been broken down. So the key components of this definition is, number one, content creation. So when we talk about content creation, so we talk about developing high quality content that provide value to the audience. So the content, for you to say you are creating content that can make impact, number one is that it should be valuable. For those of you who have been in this Zoom section for the past maybe 2-3 times, the reason why you keep coming back is because I believe you are gaining value from it. If at the first instance you engage with the content, because what we are doing, what I'm saying here is that this is content, okay, we are creating. The lectures that I hold for you are content, okay? So if it is not valuable to you, you wouldn't want to come back for the next one. So content could be in form of teachings, okay? Content could be in form of blog posts. Content could be in form of podcast. Content could be in form of ebook, and so on and so forth, okay? So these are the first set of things you need to understand about content marketing or content creation, sorry. So now the question is, which of these content that I've mentioned do you currently create? How quality is the content you create? When you just post property flyer, it is not a content, or it is not valuable. Let me put it that way. It's a content, but not valuable. Just putting out, if I go to your social media handle, if I go to your website, if I go to your blog post, and all that I see there is just content about the product you sell, okay? You just the flyer and the videos of the products you sell, then you are not creating valuable content. Okay, and content, like we say, can be in different form. It could be a video, it could be a podcast, it could be an ebook, it can even be an audio file. Like whenever we record Zoom sections like this, right, you would always see that the Zoom sections have, when the file comes out, there is what you call a video section. Okay, there's a video version of this class. There's also an audio version of that class. So some persons, all they need is just the audio, okay? But the most important thing is the value that is being distributed through the content. The only reason some of you were invited into this group or into the class by your friends, okay? And that is because they have gained value, so they help you also help also to distribute the information, and by doing so, they are able to attract you to this class or to this group. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. Then the next point about content creation, about content marketing. The next concept about content marketing is distribution. A lot of people know how to create content, but they don't know how to distribute it. Okay, so content distribution entails the sharing of content through various channels. Okay, that is what it's about, such as your website, your social media, your emails, and other platforms, your YouTube channels, and so on and so forth, your blog posts, and so your blog platform, and so on and so forth. Okay, now remember, when people are in the mood to buy things, they go to Google to search. That is what most persons do. Now, when they go to Google to search, or even before they begin to prepare to buy things, they go to Google to make inquiry. Those days, people prefer to ask friends and relatives, but these days, people prefer to ask Google first, right? So when you go to Google, when they go to Google to search for information about your industry, the question is, will they see information? Okay, let's say, for instance, somebody wants to sell a property to me, and I want to know the difference between, what is it called? I want to know the difference between global C of O and maybe the ordinary C of O, if there's any word like that. Or let's say I want to know the different types of C of O, because C of O are of different types, okay? So I want to know the different types of C of O. If that is the case, I now go to Google to search. The question is, the answers that I'm going to get, right? Will I get anyone that is from you, one of you here? That is the thing you need to answer, the question you need to ask yourself when people are looking for valuable information, because people need information to make decisions. For me to do investment, there is a common saying that don't just invest in businesses or things you don't know much about. There is a common advice like that don't go into business you don't know much about, else you will lose money, or don't make investment that you don't know much about. Now, because of this type of investment, this type of advice, people go on to ask, to make inquiries, to make findings, to make research, to trying to understand what some certain terms in the real estate industry look like, or some of the things that real estate industry are, right? So in course of making these findings, will I find you, the realtor that is trying to sell property to me? If I'm able to find information about the industry, information that will help me make decisions, right? If I'm able to find those type of informations and the informations were valuable to me, there is a high tendency that I'm going to want to deal with you, because I will see you as someone who knows what he or she is doing. But if I don't have such, if I can't find such information about you, most of you, I can only find you when I now want to buy. Okay? I can only find you at the point where I wish to buy. And at the point where I wish to buy, I have already made my mind that I want to buy. That is when I find you. Now, when I find you at that point, I don't know you before then, so I don't trust you. Because the framework is getting known, getting liked, and getting trusted, right? So I don't know you before, though okay, I'm ready to buy now. And I type land for sale in Asaba, Delta State, or land for sale in Owerri, right? That is what I searched for, and I found you. I found your ad. Maybe you are running ad on YouTube or on Google, and I found your ad, right? Now, though I found the property I am looking for, but it will not be, that does not mean that automatically I will buy from you, though you have what I need. The trust component is missing. The like component is missing. Okay? The how well I know you, the component of knowing. Finding you does not automatically mean that I know you. Okay? It's missing. So now what most of the time people will do is, they will now, when they find your ad, they will now go on other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or even on Google to trying to find more information about that person that have found what he or she is selling. I don't know if I'm communicating. Can you all hear me? Well, many persons we have in the class, we have 70 persons in the class. How many of you can hear me and you understand what I'm saying? Please, if you understand and you can hear me loud and clear, sir.
I can hear you.
All right. Okay, so now let's proceed. So I'm giving a case scenario. Let's say Olumide here, right? Is running an ad on YouTube. Olumide is running an ad on YouTube, right? And me, I'm a customer. I was searching for property to buy in, let's say, in Abuja. And Olumide actually has a property in Abuja that he is selling. Okay, so when I see that property ad, the thing is that will not automatically make me to want to buy from Olumide. Why? Because I may not have known Olumide before. I have not heard of Olumide before. For these reasons, I don't like him and I don't trust him. Now, Olumide might not complain that, I ran ad. A lot of persons clicked on the ad. A lot of persons called me. A lot of persons sent me message, but still they did not buy. They did not buy, not because the property is not good. They did not buy, not because the ad did not do well or the platform did not do well. The reason is that there are components in the equation that leads to buying. There are some of the components that are missing from that equation. And what are these components? The trust factor is missing. The last section we had, I jokingly spoke to one of the ladies, I think from Oka, and asked her if she would marry me, right? And she said no. Why? Because she doesn't know me, okay? It is beyond knowing even. She doesn't trust me. She doesn't know she can trust me. Because she doesn't know me, she can't trust me, okay? So these are the things. But so if I search and I found Olumide, now this is what would happen. So Olumide have what I want, but I'll be dealing with caution. Okay, I'll be dealing with caution. So I might pick Olumide's name and go to Google to search for his name. And when I search for his name, I didn't find him. And maybe I go to what do you call Facebook. I search for Olumide on Facebook, and I maybe still did not really find. Okay, let's even assume I find him. Now, these processes will be taking me some time. And maybe Olumide was focused on selling a property that is under promo, a property that is just launched, and he's trying to sell so he can earn maybe a certain commission or a certain point. Maybe they said first 20 people to sell two plots will travel to Dubai or whatever, some of these promises that some of these real estate companies make, right? Now, Olumide is eager to trying to win that prize or be among those that will win the prize. So he spends money on ad, and though people reach out, but the process is slow. But because Olumide is eager to sell this property, he will become agitated. He will start losing his cool and start putting pressure on these people. And because when people begin to see that somebody is putting pressure on them, it only leads to further distrust. And this guy is just desperate like this. This guy keep calling me every minute like this. I hope something is not fishy. Like when the first time I started going to Asaba to scout for property for some of the developers that we consult for, right? So what some of the things we observe is like exactly what we are saying now. Somebody will just, and one thing I dislike so much is somebody telling me that if I don't buy immediately now, someone else is about to pay for the property. You can't use that to catch someone like me, because that will even make me not want to buy from you anymore. So now, and these are some of the antics some realtors resort to. So if you don't buy now, someone else might pay for the property tomorrow. Do you know that someone say he's going to the bank to pay tomorrow? So please, I want you to make your decision faster. And that is where you begin to hear people say, if the property gets sold, I'll look for another one now. Why? Because the customer is beginning to sense that you are desperate, okay? The customer is sensing that you are desperate. And because he's sensing that you are desperate, and because he doesn't know you, the fact, the lack of trust will begin to increase further, because you begin to feel that there's something you are trying to hide. That is the reason why you don't want to close this transaction as fast. That's why you want to close the transaction as fast as possible. Okay, so these become the case. Okay, so this becomes the case. This becomes the case, and people begin to struggle. And you begin to start hearing things that. So now let's move on to the next point about content. Sorry, I think some people have been trying to join. So still on the definition of content. So we've looked at content creation. We looked at content distribution. Now, the beautiful aspect of content distribution, right, is not just about trying to sell alone. When, I don't know if it is in this class, I know I had a class where I was talking about lead generation, right? Now, when we talk about lead generation, lead is not what you convert into customer. You don't convert leads into customers. So when somebody gives you lead, you run ad and you get lead. It is not the lead that you convert. You have to carry out what you call lead qualification, right? And when you carry out lead qualification, and what is the process of carrying out lead qualification? You do lead qualification through lead nurturing, right? It is among the many leads that you are going to get, right? Among the many leads that you are going to get, it is those through the nurturing, you will now see those who are ready to buy instantly or those that will be buying very soon. Okay, so that is one thing you need to take note. So where does content, so what do you need to nurture your lead? You need content to also nurture your lead. That is the point I'm trying to make here. You need content. The reason why some of you are struggling with converting your leads into customer is because you don't have the aspect of lead nurturing in your marketing and sales process. So because sales and marketing, these are processes. Step by step, you meet this stage, you get to another stage. When you meet this stage, you get to another stage. That is how you follow it through. First, we don't have these in place. We don't have these parts in place. So what we end up doing is that we lose out at the point of lead nurturing. So what do you need to nurture the lead? You need content to nurture the lead. Some of the realtors who we work with or that works with, what we do with them is we tell them, okay, you have generated lead. As we are generating the leads, now start making educational video or informational videos. Now, what do they do with those informational videos and this thing? So what we do is maybe 3 times a week, they have videos, different videos on different topics related to maybe the area they are trying to sell property. Like for those in Asaba, for example, how many of you are aware that the government has said that communities and families should stop selling land in all places where there is land or boundary disputes? Okay, now I have seen a customer call my realtor, one of our realtor, and answer, I heard the government say you people should no longer sell property. That was what she said. And the reason is because she didn't hear the complete information. So she just came to an assumption that government say don't sell property in Asaba again, or don't market property in Asaba again. So if not that this realtor was already aware, and in fact she had already created video addressing this topic. So when the clients asked that question, she would have been caught unaware. She was able to carry her along and explain to her, this is what the government said, and this is the area where the government is referring to. These are the places that have boundary disputes in the states. And that same Asaba, the government has also said that everyone owning property in some specific area, like behind the airport and some of those areas, the ones that are not affected by the Second Niger Bridge, and those owning property in different locations should develop their property, as the government is going to revoke their ownership of the property. Government has made this information also known. Now, how many of you have created content to address this information in your state? Because some of the customers that got this information before their realtor began to feel agitated. I thought you sold land to me. You didn't tell me that there is a threshold of how long I must. How come I thought you said the land is with CFO? How is it possible that the government is saying they want to revoke ownership of the property? there is a lot of issues begin to arise. But for those realtors who were able to create content to send to their clients or their what do you call their prospect or their lead, educating them of some of the things they needed to know, for those clients or for those realtors, they were able to win more clients for themselves. So the point about content distribution cannot be overemphasized. So what I was saying earlier is that they create content, they make video, they write a little content on it and distribute it to all their leads on WhatsApp 3 times a week. That's what the time frame will give to some times a week. So they come, they create content. And this information, so I'm always mentioning realtor because the upcoming conference is mainly for realtors, though there are other training that will also be taking place that might not be specifically for realtor. But I'm always talking about realtor or real estate this period because of the upcoming conference. So if you're a realtor here, if you are a non-realtor here, please don't get upset. There are topics that would also be talking about maybe after the conference that will be specifically about you. But at the same time, some of these things, all you just need to do is to do a re-engineering. But where I mentioned realtor, it also applies to yourself. Okay, that's it. Take note of this. And for example, for someone who is into this program where I spoke yesterday, well, one of the speakers answered one of the participants' questions in a very unique way that I really love, which is for a fashion designer, how do you do your follow-up with or what kind of content should you create? Okay, there are a lot of challenges people have when it comes to fashion, okay? And it could be color combination, okay? It could be the right dressing to wear for a wedding, the right dress. Like this evening, I was calling a friend to ask her what are the type of gifts to buy when visiting someone who just gave birth. Okay, because I don't have an idea of some of these things. So I had to call a friend to give me some idea. I wanted to go and visit a friend whose wife just put to birth. And I was thinking of what to buy. So now if I didn't have a friend that I needed to ask, the next thing, the thought that was in my head was that let me go online to find gift ideas of people who sell such kind of thing. Gift ideas for this kind of scenario. And if that is the case, obviously I might end up seeing sell such products and also create this type of content. Okay, so this is what we are talking about. So back to what I was saying. So don't feel agitated when you don't get the whole idea of when I keep mentioning only real estate. Okay, so back to the point. So I've explained distribution. So, and what are the ways to do? You can distribute them on social media. You can distribute them on your WhatsApp. You can distribute them through email. So you create email. And the beautiful thing about email is if you are the type that wish to be using email, this is the concept I will give you to use. Where if you wish to be using email, right? When you create a video, right? You post the video on, say, YouTube. Maybe it's a longer video, so you post it on YouTube. Write an email, put a short clip of that video as part of the email and send it to your audience. So when they click on it, it takes them to where they can watch the full video. Same thing with Instagram. You must have, same thing with Facebook or Instagram. You must have a distribution channel and you must have a traffic channel or storehouse. So when I have a video, the best platform for video is YouTube. That's the first thing you need to take note of. Best platform for video is YouTube, number one. Number two, so how do I get a lot of people to visit my YouTube channel? So when I create a video that maybe it is 1 hour or a few hours long or 30 minutes long, I am not expected to video on Instagram or on Facebook. Okay? I just need a clip from that video, the catchy points, like some of you who registered to join this training. The video you saw, okay, the video you saw is a clip from some of our trainees. Okay, for some of you who follow me or who almost have visited my social media handles before, that is what you see. So those video entice you, this short knowledge is so good. Let me click and hear more, or let me click and register if this person is giving out this type of knowledge. Excuse me. So these are the concepts you need. So for those who are creating video, YouTube for the video channel, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and so on, as a place where you go and drag your traffic to your to your YouTube channel. So short clips on different platforms, on different social media platforms, the full clip on YouTube. Then when they click, it tells them read more, to watch the full video, there's a link on my bio, or go to our YouTube channel to watch the full video, something of that nature. I believe some of you have seen this at work before. Okay, so that is what you do. For those of you creating blogs, because you must have a place where you get traffic from, you must also have a place where you drive the traffic to. That is just the point. Some of you don't have, your traffic are not concentrated. That's the thing. Your traffics are not concentrated. So you must to concentrate your traffic. Don't scatter your traffic all over the places. One of the channels should be the traffic destination. Other channels could be the place that supplies the traffic to that traffic center or the content center. I don't know if you get the point I'm making. So that is how it's supposed to be. If you're writing blog, the same thing. Post a short, a summarized version or a paragraph of that blog post, right? A paragraph from that your blog post. Put it on your social media handles with a read more button that when they click on it, it takes them to the blog itself. And the blog should be part of your website. Okay, so that is how you drive traffic to your website. So you distribute a short copy of the blog article you have written on all of your social media handle with a read more button there. So when they click on it, it takes them straight to your website. So your website is the traffic destination. The social media handle is your traffic source. So this is how you go. But some of you, your content or your traffic is distributed everywhere. It is not concentrated. That is an issue. That is a topic on its own, though, but let's proceed because of time. Like I said, I don't really want to spend too much time in this section. So now the next thing is in the definition, one of the things we looked at is the audience. So attract and engage or specific or a defined audience. That is what the definition said. Okay, so what that means is that you need to understand the audience. So that is understanding audience, knowing who the target audience is, what their interests and pain points are, and how they consume content. This helps in increasing or creating content that resonates with them. So if I pick up, just like I was apologizing for the non-realtors or non-real estate personnel here now, because I'm always talking about real estate. Some persons who are not in real estate, who must have found themselves in this group, will feel they will not be engaged. They will feel disconnected from what we are saying here. That is the same thing that applies to a lot of persons' social media handle or the digital platforms. The content they are creating does not resonate with the type of customers they are looking for. That also tells you the type of customers you're looking for or your type of audience should automatically also determine the type of platform you use. So that will determine the type of content you even create. And when I mean type of content, whether it is video content you need, whether it is ebook you need, whether it is podcast you need, whether it is blog posts you need, the type of audience. So audience is like the primary ball game or the major part of it. Audience. Audience controls the content, type of content you create. It controls the content topic you create. It controls the platform you use as the center of your traffic and your source of traffic. All of this is determined by your audience. So the first thing is, like I used to tell some of my mentees, I say, you need to use YouTube. Now, because you're looking for diaspora clients, so you need to use YouTube. Most diaspora clients prefer to buy things. If you see a realtor who says he or she is making sales consistently on YouTube, be rest assured that 60 to 70% of that person's audience are diaspora clients. Why? Because most diaspora buyers, I'm talking about real estate now, most diaspora buyers for real estate use YouTube. They prefer video. That automatically say, I need to be creating video content automatically. They don't have issue of, my data go finish. They don't have issue of the network is too slow. Okay, so these are some of the things you need to understand. So how well do you know your audience and what are the topics you are addressing? So you need to know what are the challenges of someone in diaspora trying to buy property in Nigeria. One major thing is that the primary thing everybody knows is that most diaspora clients don't trust people back home. Why? Because of stories of how brothers even tend to embezzle money sent to them to buy property. They always feel that everybody in back home wants to scam them, wants to make them dry. So for this reason, they don't tend to trust the people back home. So the factor about trust is already missing from the beginning. Even before meeting you, there's already a trust deficiency. So now, how then can you make them to trust you? You need to appear consistently. Like one of the statistics I gave the other time in one of the sections where I say that you need to spend an average of 7 hours with somebody before the person can get to start trusting you, or no, not trusting you, so start feeling like they know you, okay? And I was asking the other time that how many content have you created? If you join the total number of content you have created on your YouTube channel or on your Facebook channel, is it up to, so if I say, let me stay with this person's YouTube channel, will I watch up to 7 hours worth of content? Now, when I also talk about 7 hours of content, I'm not talking about 7 hours of product or service-based content. I'm referring to value-based content, which means you are either educating me on how to solve a particular problem, you are either educating me on how to avoid a particular problem, and so on and so forth. These are the things you need to understand. So, how well do you understand your clients or your target audience? Not client, because they are not yet your clients. The type of people you want to sell to. Some of you say, I want high net worth individual. And what do you really know other than people that became rich through real estate? The most richest people in the world became rich through real estate. If you count the names of the richest people in the world, I can tell you that the top 10 might not have become rich through real estate. Yes, they all invest in real estate, but what made them to become rich wasn't real estate. So when you start saying you are targeting high net worth individual, and when they go to your social media handle, they go to your YouTube handle, they go to your website, these are the annoying kind of quotes you have there. It makes them feel like this person does not know what is it. The rich man is want to understand revenue. The rich man or the high net worth person, what drives his attention is not just your annoying and incorrect quotes. What capture their attention? These type of people, they discuss shares, they discuss bond, they discuss GDP, they discuss money times tax, and so on. What do you know about taxing system? What do you know about saving money in through tax? In case you don't know, every company, individuals, let me tell you a little about taxing, because I've seen some realtors make some funny comments, and all I can marvel, and I'm looking at them like, so this person now, if you ask her now, in the look for that, in the look for high net worth individual, but doesn't know anything about taxing. Okay, so property is a way. Okay, if you want to get corporate bodies to buy properties from you, you need to understand tax a lot, because tax is real estate is one way to evade tax in any part of the world. And how is that done, or how is that so? Thing is that at the end of every year, okay, for individuals, right, you pay tax, you pay income tax, which means your tax get deducted before you even earn it. That is why if you pick up your payment slip, right, you will see that tax has been deducted, okay? Income tax has been deducted. So you pay before the money even gets to you. But for a company, it is not like that, okay? So let me give you a rundown. Let's say as an organization, they make 1 billion in profit, or let's say 10 billion in profit. And out of that 10 billion, let's say the company tax is maybe around 15%, or let's say even 10%. Now, what is 10% of 10 billion? Now, I might not feel comfortable to give this entire money to the government, that 10% of 10 billion. I will not feel comfortable dashing the government that kind of money. So what this is, and the law also permits me a period of expenditure after I have calculated my income tax, the tax that has come, my tax that from my revenue for that year. Now, the point is, there is a window of about 30 to 60 days that I'm not really sure of the duration right now, a window of 30 to 60 days that I'm supposed to spend money. Okay, so what organizations do is that, yes, we have identified this. So the next thing we need to do is, instead of paying this entire money to the government, let's start spending the money, okay? Let's start spending the money. So they will spend this money to acquire plots of land. They will spend this money on investment. Now, among all the things they spend money on within this window, that is why if you have not taken, for those of you working big companies, oil and gas, banking, or you have relatives that work in those places, have you noticed that mostly at the end of the year or towards the beginning of the year, most companies always buy new cars for their business, for their executive? That money that they are using to buy cars for their executive, that's part of money that's supposed to have been used to pay tax. So they spend so much money, amounts they need to, so they try to so as to reduce their, so they increase expenditure and reduce the amounts they need to pay in tax. And real estate is the only expenditure in a company that will appear both in expenditure and in liability at the same time. And in assets at the same time, that will appear as liability at the same time. Real estate is the only investment, or the thing I know, let me not say is the only one I know that when I buy it, it is also at the same time an asset as an organization. So because of that, so what most companies do is, those companies that already know about the need for real estate, that understand this, they go to, all realtors that understand this, they go to companies, try to get the CEOs engaged. That's what they do. They will start engaging the CEO or the decision makers before the end of the year, the chief accountant before the end of the year, so that when they are having this meeting on what to spend that money on, real estate is an option. So, and when real estate is an option, they begin to decide which realtor can we talk to, or which real estate company can we talk to, so that can guide us through this investment process. Or how I've seen a realtor reach out to me to say, a company just reached out to me and they said they want to spend is it 10 or 15 billion naira in real estate investment that I should advise them on how to invest the money. Now, you who the only quote that is in your status is all billionaire became billionaire through real estate. Do you think a company that wants to spend that kind of amount will want to trust you to guide them through? Or a realtor that explained this process in detail, even far better than I am doing right now? Do you think they will listen to that realtor, or they will listen to you that has a quote that you don't know where it came from? Okay, so I've spoken too much, so let me give room for questions before we proceed to the next point. Questions now. Are they even with me at all?
Thank you very much, sir. We are here, sir. Right on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide. Any question? Questions?
Yeah, question. When is the conference coming up?
Olumide, I guess you, I don't know if it's the Olumide that I know. Olumide, you are in Lagos, right?
Yes, sir. My name is Olamide. Yes, I'm in Lagos, sir.
Okay. The current conference we are preparing for is for the South, South, and the Southeast, and it's taking place in Asaba, not in Lagos.
Okay, all right, no problem, sir. I'm in Lagos, so that's
okay.
not.
I think I know. Though there's also a conference coming up for Lagosians, but the information has not been put out for now. So the current conference we're talking about is a conference that is happening in the South, South, and Southeast. Okay.
Sir.
All right, sir. I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of engaging companies, you know, like banks or private sectors, you know, talking about tax, engaging them, you know, enlightening them on how the thing is being done. Maybe people that doesn't know who is the right person in that firm to meet, or you just meet both accountants, both the MD, as in who is the right person to meet there? Because sometimes when you go to these companies, you know, you don't even know the right person to meet that can actually give you what you're looking for. You know, so how do we evaluate as in offices or heads in those firms, you know, to know the right person to meet to discuss something? Thank you.
Okay, the thing is, one, it differs from organization to organization. There's no fixed position to say this is the person that is in charge. Okay, so what you need to try to study is who are the decision makers in this organization. Some accountants are instruction takers. What I mean, they don't do the accountant, but they don't partake in decision making in some organizations. So that is why I would say, first of all, study the company to know who are the decision makers. It's not about decision about real estate investment now, decision makers, okay? Now, if you are able to know the positions of people that are decision makers, you can approach anyone among the hierarchy of people that are in position to make decisions. Okay, what that means is that there's no one single person that is going to make that decision. So what they always do is that among the board of directors or the management team, right, there are people, when they want to do those type of things, there are people that must be carried along. So most of the time in organizations that some of them have politics, people will begin to bring their own people. Okay, so based on those they know and those they trust, or those they know that will render a good service. Okay, I've done it with some companies, some realtors. I've told some realtors, work with some realtors who had to do it with, for those that are in school, they were able to get the head teacher. For those, I've also known someone, a realtor, who did that with a bank. Okay, the regional manager or regional director is the one that actually she had to pass through. Okay, so it differs from organization to organization. I've seen in the oil and gas space a company, a realtor that I consult for in Port Harcourt, who do it with an oil and gas company. I've known two oil maritime companies that she has done that with. One of them is the chief accountant that's the person she has to pass through. That you are passing through that person does not mean that that person will be the one to make the final decision. But try to get access to some people. Now take note of how corporate bodies work. There are some people, they might not be the ones who have the power to make the decision, but they have a lot of influence. Okay? How influential is this person to the decision maker? How can this person influence the decision maker most of the time? So most of the time it's a collective. Sometimes they might give room for different persons to come and make presentation. So you just need to understand the system that works for that organization and try to tailor your whole process around that system. So there's no one definite answer. So but look for management staff. You could start from lower staff by using the lower staff to get information about the organization and how they operate. That is what a lower staff could do for you. But that does not mean that you can use through that lower staff, you can use it. So from that, now that you know, I've seen a lot of salespeople do crazy things, okay? I've seen salespeople do crazy things, attending people's wedding that they were not invited for just because they wanted to gain access to somebody that makes decision. Okay? That's all I'll be saying for now. So give me a minute. I need to pick this call. Hello? Good evening. I'm in a class. Yes. Okay, so sorry about that. So back to the point. So okay, I guess that's the only question, Mr. Lum. I don't know who asked that question, but I believe I've answered that question. So the next thing is the consistency. In the definition, we consider the consistency. How consistent? Some of you you don't have a posting calendar. You must have a calendar. We call it content calendar. If I post today, when am I posting next? What time of the day am I posting? You must have a content calendar. That's the point. Have a content calendar that determines how you do your post. Okay, so that is just what that aspect is talking about. So the content calendar, when do I post? When do my people, it's not just you picking when to post. Some factors or metrics will also determine how you do your post. Okay, like if I'm posting to the diaspora clients in the UK, there are timing I'm supposed to, if I'm targeting UK people, there are timing I'm supposed to post. If I'm targeting those in the US, there are timing I'm supposed to post. If I'm targeting those in Africa, West Africa, and so on, there are timing I'm supposed to post, okay? So these are things you need to take note of. How often should I post? Timing is one thing. How often you post? Is it once every day? Is it twice every day? Is it thrice every day? Okay? And how many days in a week should I post? All of these are things you need to take note of. Then the last one is the goal. So to achieve, remember when we looked at the definition, we said that the objective is to attract and engage a clearly defined audience, okay? So the primary goal is to drive profitable customer action by providing content that addresses their need and interest of a target audience, okay? So that is another thing you need to take note of. The purpose is to address their needs, okay? So take note of that. Then the next one is, so what is your goal? Do I want to drive traffic to my social media handles? Do I want to drive traffic to my website? Do I want to get them to buy? So you must have a goal. You don't just post. There must be a reason why you are posting. So, and the reason why you are posting, the reason for, my reason is just to get traffic, okay? The pattern I'm going to use, the consistency of posts will be different. If the reason is to increase my engagement, the way, the topic, and how will be different. Okay, so you must have an objective. Is it for the purpose of lead generation? The pattern and objective will be different. Is it for customer retention? The reason and the pattern must be different. Okay, just like when I was, sometime last year, I needed to buy something, a ring to be precise. So I did a lot of research. Initially I tried getting from someone that a popular person normally buy from that I know of. So I contacted them. They were so pricey. Then I looked for alternatives. The alternative people, though their prices were good, but I didn't trust the quality, and I also did not trust I didn't trust the quality, and I didn't even trust that they are going to deliver. Even if they deliver it to me, will it be the quality I'm looking for? So how did I end up making my purchase decision? I look, some of the people say, you don't need to meet us. Just make your payment, it will be delivered to you. That is what they ask for. It will be, okay, what if I make the payment and I don't see them again? What if I make the payment and they don't deliver? Or what if I make the payment and they deliver something different from what they say they are going to deliver? Okay, so I made my decision in a way that will settle my two fears. One, I look for somebody I found online that I could locate their office. Okay, that is how I made my decision. I could find them online and I could also locate their office. So I found them online, I called them, I asked where their office was. So I saw different persons I could locate their office, but somewhere in the mainland, I live in the island, somewhere in the mainland, in Ikeja houses. So I ruled those ones out. Then I now looked at, okay, I now saw the ones that are within the areas I can easily access. Okay, and I also look at their pricing. Their pricings were good, their quality were good, and I could locate them. These were not the parameters with which I made the purchase. So I went, even though I'm a tech person, I still went to their office to pick up the ring myself. So I could do the testing there and there before I picked up the ring. So that is how it's. So what that means is that my fear. So if I had seen someone that would say, okay, how do you identify a fake gold ring or an original one? Okay, I want to follow that person more. That is the idea. I want to follow that person more. But there would have still been another fear. What if at the end it delivers something that is different from, but how do I get my money back, or do I get the original one? Okay, so these are the things that we need to pay attention to when dealing in content. Okay, the last part is storytelling. So when you are creating content, what you are doing is story. Like I engaged, we had so many jobs at hand. So I saw a lady who is always making noise on social media about social media management. We do it, but we had too many jobs at hand. So I wanted to give out some. So I reached out to this lady. I explained what the business is into, and I gave her part money to start. You needed to see what this lady created. I was so upset. And I had to start being one, more or less teaching her this is how it is supposed to be done. This side, you are telling a story. I can't be trying to tell a story about Delta State, and I am starting from real estate. Real estate is not the beginning of Delta State. I've just told you that this blog or this social media handle is focused on telling the story of Delta and its people and the different culture, different tribes, the different type of industries that thrive in the state. That is where so it's supposed to be from. Now, but though they are tending it to real estate at the end to drive people to buy, but they want people to first of all know and love the state first. And you are starting from real estate. Okay, it was so annoying because so all the noise you make on social media, so there's nothing in your head. Okay, so now back to the point. The point I'm trying to make with that narrative is that you are telling a story. And when you tell a story, you must tell the story from the right perspective. Don't start from the end of the story. Don't start from the middle of the story. So you must start from in, and even if you want to do some caveat by starting from the middle of the story, you must have to reconnect. So that is why content, for content marketing, we always say create what we call a content calendar. So in that content calendar, it gives an overview of how you want to tell the story. Okay, so if you say tell my story, you can't just tell my story from Chris, the Techboss that does digital marketing, because that is not where Chris started from. That is not all about Chris. Okay, so and all your topic for an entire 3 months cannot just be Chris, the digital marketer. How did Chris become the digital marketer for the first place? Okay, so you must know how you tell your story. That's the point. And when you tell your story, make it engaging. Make it engaging. That's another point. Let your story be engaging. Let it be memorable. Let it build strong bond and connection with your audience. That's the point. Okay. So with that, I have come to the end of today's section because, like I said, I wanted to end the class very early. And like I told you, I almost postponed the class because I had a place to be, but I still just had to make sure I attend to you guys because I've given my word. So, questions, please. Questions.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I want to ask about the YouTube ad, the YouTube videos. Sorry,
Okay.
I've been posting on YouTube, but I've not, been getting any leads actually. So just like 2 months ago, but I'm just still trying. Sometimes I will put it on YouTube, or sometimes I'll feel lazy. But for how long do you think I have to be consistent for me to get a lead from YouTube? Thank you.
Okay, the first thing is, it is not first of all how long, it is first of all your consistency, that is what, and what the type of topics you have been posting. The first thing about YouTube is that you must post searchable content. That's the first thing. You can start posting today and get lead. I've seen people post within 1 month, people have started reaching out to them. So there are a lot of factors. It is not based on the duration first. It is about the structure of what you are posting and how you are posting it. That is where it starts from. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes, sir. I got that, sir.
So that is where you should start from. What are you posting? How are you posting what you are posting?
Well, as you know, I'm into real estate.
I'm a realtor. I know you are a realtor. Now the question is, what topic are you posting, for example? What are the topics you are posting about? Are the topics you are posting about the things people are looking for?
Well, sir, let me just be sincere. Actually, I only post my briefs on YouTube. So I've not started posting content, but I think I will start as soon as possible. Trying to get more.
All right, so that's the thing. And another thing is, when you say you are not getting view, you are not getting leads. The first thing is, how many people are even seeing it, and who are the people that are seeing it?
Actually, mostly the one I posted last time was a short video. I have about 240 views.
Views, okay? 240 view of how many minutes watch hour?
Actually, the analytics, I can't remember, but I think that was what I saw last. 240 views, and
because one thing is, why I'm asking the watch time is that you could have gotten view. If I click on that video and I watch it for like maybe 15 seconds, it's automatically a view. Hope you know that.
Yes.
Which means I didn't watch it complete. I just, for some few minutes, I just saw it and I stopped and I left. It will still count as view. But the thing is that I did not actually view that video. Maybe I just stumbled on it and I saw it play a little and I don't like the beginning. I just closed and left. It still record for you as views.
Okay.
Now, so that is why I say you need to check how long people are watching your video. Are they watching the video to the end?
Okay.
So these are the things you need to look at. And from where, like one of the ladies who said, I'm getting so much views. A few days ago, one lady reached out to me. I'm getting so much views, but none of them is contacting. And when I actually checked the social media, the YouTube page, she was actually getting so much views. But when we now start analyzing the views were coming from India.
Jesus Christ.
So that's the thing. The views were coming from India. So if the views are coming from India, that is already tell you there's a possibility. And after I started looking at, there are still Nigerians in India, no doubt. Now, aside the fact that they are coming from India, we also notice, another thing we notice is that most of them don't watch the video even up to 10 or 15 seconds. So that helped us to really tell where the whole is coming from. And I pointed out what to address. Okay, so that's the case. So any other? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other question? Questions. Okay, while you are still preparing for your question, for those of you who are in the South and the Southeast, this is the conference. Most of you are already aware of the upcoming conference. It's called the South and the Southeast Real Estate Conference for Real Estate Professional. The theme for the program is Innovative Real Estate for Regional Development. And like we said, for those of you who are maybe joining us for the first time that are from the South and the Southeast, one of the things we said is that apart from the people you see on this section, there will also be panel section where we have the Commissioner for Housing in Delta State, the Surveyor General, the Director of Delta State Capital, the Capital City Development, that is in person of Eshifuka, would be there. We also have representative from the OCA, that is Anambra State Housing, Minister of Housing, which is the Commissioner for Housing. Though he promised if he's not coming, he will likely send a representative. So we have people from different who are going to have a panel section, and the person of Shifuka, for those in Delta who are marketing property in Delta State, is to tell us what are government plans in terms of the capital city. Okay, the capital territory, sorry, the capital territory, so that is Delta State Capital Territory Development Commission Authority. So the person in charge of that, where to buy land, where not to buy land, and all of that. Then the minister of the commissioner, sorry, for this thing would also go out and tell us the government areas, because for me now, based on privilege, I've been able to find out that the capital territory no longer, which is, I'm talking about Delta State Capital Territory now, no longer have much of free land. So, and this is an information directly from the Director of Mapping and GIS, who say that that currently there are no more properties in the capital territory. That if you are buying any property, you are either buying somebody's land or you are buying government land. And I can attest to that because almost every day I keep sending my surveyor out to go the period. Currently I'm in Lagos. Some of you know I rushed into Lagos to hold a conference. I was in Lagos in Marriott Hotel yesterday, having a conference. I'll be having a training. So I'll be going back to this thing first thing tomorrow morning, going back to Delta first thing tomorrow morning. So, and in course of doing this, I send my surveyor out every night. There's one estate I so much admire the level of work the developer is putting into place. And in course of that, I noticed that 90% of the land within the capital territory, they are always showing government proposed acquisition, not really acquired, but proposed acquisition. So I was even talking to my lawyer and my surveyors of recent, what some when I approach the developer, this is you are selling with all this work you are putting in place. This is what your land is showing. Well, we are trying to regularize it. So the question is, can you regularize a land that government is proposing to acquire? Can you regularize it? The one of the estates which is almost sold, that one is actually a government land, not that is proposed, is already government acquired. And I'm seeing an estate on. And I'm seeing an estate. I'm seeing an estate on the land. So things like these are some of the things we want to address with the conference. So I already have some of the answers to these things I'm mentioning. So because like I keep saying, not to put fear on anybody. For you realtors, for your own sake, work with a surveyor. It's not that expensive to work with a surveyor. Let me give you the tricks of working with a surveyor. In every state, in the Ministry of Land, there are two ways of charting a property. You're either going through the right channel, the approved channel, or you are going through the back door, what I call the back door. And what is that? You can give money to the people who work in that department, sort them. For some places it's 50,000, some places it's 70, some places depending on the state. You sort the guy, and that is after your surveyor must have picked the coordinates. And when they go to the Ministry of Land, they just give money to sort one or two persons there, and the person will check the system and tell you the position of that property. That is the back door. That even some of your so-called developers, that is what they do. Now, but there is another option, which is the right method. You are supposed to pay the money into a designated government account. Now, that one will come with a signed letter, which is like a shard certificate, if that is the word, a letter that shows that is going to be signed either by the Surveyor General or the Assistant Surveyor General. These are the only two persons that signs that document, okay? Which means they would have, the main authority would have looked at it thoroughly and tell you the position of that land, okay? Because the truth is, if you sell and government come and take over, like there is an estate that is sold, that some of the realtors I'm currently now consulting for in Asaba. After this advice, they are now, please can you tell us, introduce us to your surveyor? You introduce them to my surveyor, and they pick the land. One of the land is sold out. This one is sold out. That is opposite the Admiralty. For those of you in Asaba, opposite Admiralty University. There are lots and lots of government land opposite Admiralty University. That is the next phase of development for Asaba, according to the government. That is the next scheme of development. The next, like the way they build the ShopRite and other things to develop the Okpanam area, that is also the next phase of development. So that is why you see most of the government projects are cited towards that area. Okay, you see the second construction of the road linking to Okpanam to Ibuzo. That is because to make transition easy for people, because that place will be flooded, and majority of the land opposite that place belong to the government. I have charted not more than 20 estates in that location, and most of them are falling under the government acquired or government proposed acquisition. Some of you know that there's a military barrack that is coming up in that location as well. But these are the same property most of you are selling. Tomorrow, what happens? You either run away. I'm talking of opposite, not behind, opposite. I'm talking about opposite the Admiralty University, which is across the road, not behind, across the road. Not behind. Across the road, the only government land, or most of the government land you will see behind, most of the government land you will see behind are belonging to the school. Because the school, there is already large land that is proposed for the expansion of the school. When that place, because every government project, they think ahead. They make provision for the current stage, and they also make provision for expansion. Most of the time, the one that is proposed for expansion, they don't fence it first. They only fence the one they want to use now. And most people will start going, sometimes the community or the families will start going to sell the one that is proposed for expansion. That is where issues always come from. that government have taken the one they want to take. They will not come for this one again. You hear statement like that. Okay, so these are the things. Because opposite the Admiralty University, down to where you have the dam, I have been to all of there's a fishing camp behind that area. And even behind the university down to, I've moved, there's a bad road or a back road there behind the university that will take you down to Ogwashuku. I've been to all of those places. I understand what is happening there. I work sometimes with hand in hand with people, the surveyors from the Ministry of Land directly. The people mapping the states.
Nigeria, I got play rubbish. Don't play about
These are the things you need to understand. Please mute yourself, Mr. Olumide. So these are the things that we need to understand. These things are very vital. Okay? These things are very vital. So more questions because I'm done teaching. After question, we'll call it a day.
This is a good job.
Oh, where's Olumide? Where's that is this thing?
Nigeria.
So these are the things we need to understand. So you don't sell property that will put you in trouble. And this is the reason why we are having this conference. There are a lot of reasons we're having the conference to help in the real estate development in the states, in this region. Because truth be told, the states with the highest real estate development are the people funding it, let me use that word, the major customers in those states, right, are from the South and the Southeast. It is proven. The major people spending money, buying properties in the states with the highest real estate listing are not really people from those regions. Okay, so one of the things we want to is not that we are trying to make sure people don't buy property in a particular, that's not the notion. States should all develop together. That is the notion. Okay, the states should develop together. Different regions should develop together. The development should not be centered in one region. And currently, there is high demand in property in the South and the Southeast. Okay, I can tell you that for free. There is high demand in properties in the South and the Southeast. But the only challenge where people are concerned is that the knowledge gap is very wide. Okay, the knowledge gap is very wide. So people are selling government land to unsuspecting investors. People are selling properties, building on land belonging to government. And tomorrow, what is happening in Lagos that people say, government demolish my property, government, what will come out there will be worse than what is in the South side and the Southeast, like place like Asaba, would end up being worse than what is happening in Lagos. So all this one, some of you are saying, it is tribal. That is why they're only demolishing properties that belong to these people or that people. That is not going to be the case. By the time government in these places also start demolishing, I wonder who you will hold accountable or who you say they are chasing this time around. So this is the reason why the essence of the conference is not just going to end with this conference. We'll keep working hand in hand with the government to increase the knowledge. That's the point. Working hand in hand to increase the knowledge, because when the knowledge is there, people will know their left from their right. People will know how to do the right thing and what not to do and stuff like that. So these are some of the reasons why we are actually pushing the whole narrative about conferences in the South and the Southeast. Then let me also use the opportunity to address another question. For some of you asking, will it not take place? When will it take place in my state or in my city? When will it take place in Warri? When will it take place in Oka? We don't tend to be carrying the conference around. Let me make it very clear. The plan is not to carry the conference from one state or from one city to another. Okay, the conference was only brought to that area to make it accessible to those in those areas. If people from those areas can be traveling all the way to Lagos for conferences like this. Like yesterday's section we had there were people from Port Harcourt, there were people from Asaba, there were people from some other Southeast states. Okay. So how can a conference now be taking place in Delta State, in the state capital, and somebody who is living at the backyard called Warri will be telling me that when am I coming to their own city? Okay, so please, this is not to spite anybody. If you really mean business, you can travel. At least I saw people from Abuja. At least I always have people coming from Abuja to Lagos conference. Imagine the distance between Lagos and Abuja. People still travel those distance, pay hotel bill, and you who is living in Delta, I don't see any reason why you cannot do this. Okay. So it is central enough, because if you move into to Warri, the person coming from place like Oka, it becomes very far from him. The person coming from Onitsha, is become more far from him. The person coming from Imo State, and so on. So these are the things. So the Asaba is a bit central. That is even the reason why the Asaba real estate market is booming, because Asaba is central. The Igbo man who feels like the Oka or some of the Igbo-speaking cities or states is not secured, they prefer to invest in Asaba. I've been in Asaba during the holidays, almost all time of the year. I've been in Asaba. So I've done an assessment. The people buying properties in Asaba are from Oka, Onitsha, Imo, Enugu, Abia. The Abia government is really doing a lot to encourage real estate currently. But most of the people that are still buying from Asaba currently. And that is because Asaba seems to be central and peaceful. Okay? So these are things you need to understand. So that's why we make the conference central. So don't feel bad when we say we are not coming to your state. Okay? If you really value the knowledge, you would come for it. That's just the point. If you value the knowledge, you can come for it. So it's not mandatory. And that is why I also say, you can say in the WhatsApp group, I enjoy free training. That is the thing. It's not mandatory that you must come for the paid conference. Enjoy the ones that are free. We always already have topics we teach for free and topics we teach for paid training. Okay? So if you think the freemium is enough for you, keep enjoying the freemium. Okay? So that is what I have to say. With that being said, if you know you have not paid, time is running out. We have less than a week to the end of the early bird payment. Like I also said, the conference hall is only occupying about 200 persons. And again, that I don't even think it's based on the arrangement we requested for it to even take up to 200 like the management of the hotel said. Then we already have companies who are sending 10, 20 staff members, or realtors, staff and realtors for the conference. So that automatically means that most of the seats are sold out. Okay? So take note of this. With that being said, we have come to the end of today's section. If you still have questions, I'll give room for like 2 more questions. And if there is none, that'll be the end for today's.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, thank you very much for this section. Honestly, most times when you teach, I just tend to reason the level of hard work you put into this to have so much knowledge. And I'm still wondering, like, this one that is free class and we're getting so much value. So, like, what am I going to learn in the paid class? That's what I keep wondering. So, but I know that there's a lot in stock, and I can't wait to get into the paid section to get much more information and value. So, sir, I really need your help in terms of identifying my target audience. I need your help.
Okay, sorry, Chisom, I'm struggling to hear you. Can you be a bit more audible?
Oh,
Can you hear? Can you hear me now?
Better.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you clear now.
Okay. All right, sir. I said I have been getting a lot of value so far in the training, and I've been wondering, the level of hard work, the level of, discipline you have to put in to get so much information that you're giving out like this. And most times I keep wondering, this one we are in free class, but we are getting this so much value. So I keep wondering what's in stock in the paid class. So I can't wait to really get involved to learn more. But please, sir, I need your help. And it's not that we are still growing and we are trying to put ourselves together to come into the enclave group. But at least before then, we need to put ourselves and have an audience. So please, if you are going to target a particular market, let's say, for instance, if you want to target young people and you want to help them build wealth through real estate, can you just can you give me an idea of how you go about it? What are the practical steps you are going to take to be able to identify your audience and identify their need? Because I've taught and there are so many needs that, and it takes a lot for you to get to pick your audience and know their particular needs. Because the way you talk to us like this, it's obvious that you've done a lot of assignment, and the way you talk is just so clear that these are the challenges, these are the problems that we are encountering. So please, sir, can you help me, guide me through, give me those principles to be able to identify my audience so that start working on it. Thank you.
When it comes to audience identification, right? When it comes to audience identification, how do I put it? When it comes to audience identification, there are things I might not be able to tell you in this class, okay? Because, for example, one of the things we do is, when working with customers, is that we have like a questionnaire we send to them. They fill the questionnaire, okay? So when they fill that questionnaire, that will help us to tell that, okay, based on this person's ability, based on this person's strength, based on this person's location, based on this person's knowledge, this is the type of audience that will be able to resonate with this person better, okay? Based on that audience that can resonate with this person better, this is the angle or the strategy that will help that person to attract those type of audiences, okay? Now, and that is now how we will now structure the whole stuff. I must tell you the truth, and that is not something I can share in the free section, okay? Now, so that is just it, because that is a strategy document or strategy questionnaire. Let me put it that way. It's like a questionnaire. It's by the time you answer that thing, and I work, or many of our team members work with you to ask you, after you have answered the question, we'll still have to have a physical or a virtual section personalized where we begin to ask you some sense those questions. We are picking points and we are trying to know yours. At the end, we might end up coming up with 3 to 4 different niches. And these 3 to 4 different niches would help us to, now, okay, we'll now look for a way to narrow it down. Or let's say, let's start with this particular niche and run with it for the next 3 months and see what can be achieved out of it. Okay, so that is how we work. If I answered your question.
Sir, well noted. Thank you very much. So I have to really work hard to get into the enclave. All right, sir.
You can join the this thing. Okay, you are even talking. Okay, you are talking about enclave. Okay, well, you can. The conference is what I'm even talking about here. Enclave is a bit pricey for some persons. Okay, not everybody can afford enclave, and also don't impose enclave on people. The enclave is for a specific target audience. And I always tell people, start from what you can afford first. Don't be saying, I will wait until I can afford this. I will wait until I can afford it, because most of the trainings are scheduled in a way that, or product or services, or let me talk of myself now, my product or the company product and services are structured in a way that some of them can give you, let's say, 15% result. Some others are structured to give you maybe 20% result. Some others are structured to give you maybe 200% result. So it's better you start when you don't have any result. It's better you start with something you can afford, and maybe what you can afford can give you 15% result. And it's better than nothing. 15% result is better than nothing. So it's better you climb the ladder than saying, I will wait and keep procrastinating and end up not even being able to do it at all. So that is my take. All right.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Remaining one more. Okay, good
Good
evening.
All
evening,
right, sir.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Coming from the last question she asked, thank you for the class, first of all. About the target audience or whatever, my issue has been that most of the time when I run my adverts, they always convert. And I really target business people and then street boys. I mean, all these Yahoo guys. And I come to the realization that most of the people that buy from me, they are those young guys. So I've not been able to close this kind of businessmen that they have like enough to buy much more. So I just really don't know exactly what I'm really doing wrong. And then secondly, you said those that paid for the conference that you're going to add us to one group or something like that, but I've not been added at
You
all.
have not been added, I know. Guys,
Okay.
that will be done, I think, maybe by tomorrow. Tomorrow is a working day. That will be done. I'm
All right,
aware of
sir.
that. Yeah. Okay, talking about your ads and what you are doing is, now this is it. What will appeal to a street guy, a young guy, right? Will not appeal to a businessman because he knows much more than the street guy. The level of information the businessman has what will appeal, the level of information he has about real estate, about investment, right, would make him not to embrace any type of, or any kind of real estate products. That's the first thing you need to take note of. So now your content must address his or her need. But the higher the price of a product, okay, the more it moves away from the product to value. Talking about the content you are using for your ad now. The more the price of the product, the higher that the content should move away from the product-centric content to value-based content. Now, like I was discussing with some of my team members yesterday after the conference we attended, and some persons that were asking me a question. What we told them was that it is better to use content, right? It is better to use value-based content to run ad than to use product-based content to run ad. Okay? Because product-based content focuses on sales. Value-based content builds trust. So that is one way you can get that done. That's one. Then number two, it could also be the platform, the places where the business people, rich people buy products and services might not be where you are running your ad. The rich and the mighty depend more on Google and YouTube to get information and not social media. So if you are now focusing your ad on social media, though they might be seeing it, but they don't pay attention to it. Why? Because they don't depend on that platform. A lot of big rich people will tell you, don't trust things you see on social media. I believe you and I must have heard these stories before, or those statements before. Don't trust what you see on social media. So most of them don't trust what they see social media as a place for just fun and people misbehaving. That's how most of the elite see social media. Very few of them see. So the question now is the next, where is the platform? That is why I have classes so much I barely recall where I make some statement. So there was one of the class, I don't know, I think it was our previous class, where we're talking about where to find your audience. Okay. And I remember one of the guys was giving an instance, if your audience are, if you are looking to catch shark, you can't be looking for shark. You want to catch shark and you're going to a pond to catch fish. Say, I want to catch shark and you went to a pond. There's no way you can catch a shark in a pond. Okay? So it's the same way. There are some platforms that is easy for you to find high net worth people, and there are platforms that is difficult for you to find high net worth people. If you are looking for business owners, top business executive, the first platform you should be thinking of is LinkedIn. That is their own social media platform, not Facebook and Instagram. Yes, they're on Facebook and Instagram just to cash fund. But when they want to think seriously and do something serious, They go to their social media platform, is first of all LinkedIn, then there are places where they search for property, is Google and YouTube. That's the connection. But the young people you are talking about, the place where you are talking about, it is Facebook and Instagram, I believe you are running your ad. So I guess that is why you are not able to get them. So if you want to get them, use LinkedIn for your ad or this thing for your ad. So that's what I have to say.
All right, thank you very much. I think I'll just have to learn LinkedIn advertisement stuff. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, good
Can
evening.
I say something now?
Okay, all right. Monica, you've been raising your hand. So said that after Nkechi, then we'll call it a day. I already give room for questions.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity, and thanks for the training. There's something you mentioned. You said we were paying for a surveyor to check it for us at the lands registry, that we should insist we get a report, like they pay to the treasury, and we'll get a physical report. In the case where you know the one doing it, you're paying a surveyor because that is the person's work. I can't go and take coordinates or anything on that side because I don't know that area. So I'm paying somebody to do it for me. Do I have to insist? But I don't know how their process runs. Do I have to insist that you have to give me a physical hard copy? Or how do I go about it? Thank you.
Okay.
And if we don't insist, does it mean that whatever they give us is not accurate?
Okay, first of all, I actually didn't say you should insist. Okay, insist is not what I only explain the two options that are available. Okay, the option of the back door checking and the option of the front door checking. Now, it all depends on how much you are now willing to pay. Because to use the back door is cheaper, to use the front door is more expensive. So you now have to decide which of the option are you paying the surveyor for. So it is based on, so you have to discuss that from the beginning. Are you paying? Is a knowledge you already have. This would also tell how well that your surveyor even know his job. Some surveyor will be the one to explain it to you. These are the options available. Which do you want to go for? And if your surveyor did not explain it to you, you can explain it to the surveyor. These are the options I know that are available. And this is the one I want to do.
Okay.
So, and they will not be the one to tell you, okay, if you have to go this route, this is how much I will charge you. If I have to go this route, this is how much I should charge you. Now, the reason for using the paid option, right, is because we have also heard reports, unconfirmed reports, let me put it that way, that some of these unscrupulous land sellers used to connive with those people at that front office that are checking those things. When anybody come, tell them this land is good to go. I've heard this report that they said they'll tell, okay, take coordinate, go to site. They will even tell, so person is coming, people are coming to check for so land, please help me out. And those people will collect money and give you unnecessary reports. I don't know why since I was born, I just have this thing that I don't trust or believe anything about the government, even though now currently I do a lot with them, but I don't really do the government. So, because some people depend on government officials. What I mean by don't really rely on the government is some people depend on a government official to do something bad, forgetting that that government official will leave that position one day, will retire one day. Like one of the things that is happening with one of the real estate companies I wouldn't want to mention, then when they were reigning and were appearing in almost everything, we're selling property so much. A relative of the MD or the owner of that real estate company was actually Surveyor General in Lagos State. And when that person left, all the backyard business they did came into exposure and they started having issues. So that is the reason why I don't always believe, but because of funds, because of money, okay, that is the only reason why people do the back door. If you want to start with the back door, no problem. That's just the point, that at least if that is what you can do for now. And if you also have the resources to go for because the difference is not much. I think 150 for the highest I've paid for the normal check-in is 150. And it also depends on the size of the land. So instead of telling, because normally you will write a letter specifying the size of the land and all of that, and the government will tend to charge you based on the size of the land. But there are also options my surveyor has given to me. Instead of writing the size of the land in that letter, write only the coordinates in the letter. They will still approve it and check it. But on the normal sense, they tell you to write the size of the land you want to check the coordinate for, and also write the coordinate. But sometimes you can write the letter in a way that you omit the size of the land and only put the coordinates of the land, and they will still check it for you. But like I said, the highest I've paid is 150,000 naira. And if you need to pay 150,000 naira to save yourself of maybe going to jail, is it not better you do that? So that's the option available.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Nkechi, I guess the next person.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so grateful for this class you are holding for us. I'm very, very grateful. The knowledge is power. It's really worth it. Please, there are some questions.
Is it from me or from Nkechi? I can't hear you anymore. Am I the only one not hearing her?
No, you're not. I think it's from her.
Almost all of us are not hearing her.
Okay. So Nkechi, if you can hear us, I guess it should be your network. If you know network is an issue in where you are, maybe you should just type the question. She even still in the meeting. Yeah, I'll just give her a few minutes if she can still come on and ask a question. Else, that'll be the end of the end for today. So our next class would be on Wednesday. And for those who are paid for the conference, you'll be added to the group by God's grace tomorrow. That is one. Number two, you will be, you have the opportunity of meeting me one-on-one before the conference. I also mentioned that already before. So you have the opportunity for us to talk and do some strategizing. You can ask questions that border around paid trainings, and I'll be open to attend to you and all of that. So take note of that. Then for the companies, I don't know if any one of them is here right now, that paid for their staff members, your training, your personalized training, because we talked about personalized training and strategy section, one full day personalized training and strategy section to evaluate your process, evaluate your product, evaluate the way you do your business, evaluate your marketing system and strategy, and point you in the right direction. That would be after the conference. That's what we promised. That will be after the conference, not before. I know my PA reached out to me. Some of you have been asking if it is going to be before. It is not before, it is after the conference. But there's so much movement I'm making this period. I can promise to have a section with you before the conference. I'm even going to be going to Port Harcourt for another listing on Friday or Saturday or something. So these are the things I just have to say. And since we can't seem to get back Nkechi, I guess we should have to call it a day for now. Thank you, and God bless every one of you.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Emma.